Well, I find it interesting that we have, a group of people that really are looking at the Rashash. I mean, I'm looking at the Rashash for over 10 years, I think, and very difficult to understand. It's just so big. But over here we have the Kavanos on the Talit Katan. Surprisingly enough, that when you put the Talit Katan, he's going to ask you to wrap yourself in the Talit Katan as well as the Talit Gadol. I think I've seen that in different places. I don't know if we have that here. But let's take a look at what the formation of what the light that is coming at it. Remember that when we see an Ekya with on top of a Havaya, Ekya Havaya, it always refers to Oros. The Oros are called Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chayin, Yechida. There are 5 of them. Each one of them has 5 within it. So it gets complicated to understand that there are lights within lights within lights. What we see on the outside, when we see this other places in the Sifrat Sniut, I think I saw this, is that what you see on the outside is really a manifestation of the inside, but it has to have a diminution, is that the right word, of the light before it becomes physically visible what it is. Now, what we are trying to do is harness this light. So he says, look at what you have here. Now, this is like a little different kind of layout. So he says, first of all, this is Kesser. This is the Nikud of Kesser. These are the Oros coming from there. The Chochma being the Das, Chesed Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. And where is this light going? So we don't know this yet. Those are the Oros. Now the Oros are surrounded they are inside of the Mochin. Mochin, the Hug. We'll get through that. The Hug. Hug. I got that wrong. It's Mochin of the Chochma, Bina, Chesed, Gevurah. This is Chochma. It's an Elokim in a Milui form with a Milui of Hey Yud. Now, for those of you who know a little bit of Kabbalah, you know that there's 3 different ways that you can spell Elokim in a Milui. One is the Hey Yud, one is the Hey, and the last one is the Hey Aleph. He says the Mochin of the Chochma and Bina and Chesed Gevurah, this is Chochma, this is Bina, this is Das Chesadim and Das Gevurah. Remember that little middle line? It always splits. Then, where is this going? He says, where is it going? So this is, I guess probably I should read this. Let me get it back. There it is. So let's just look at this. We keep seeing this phrase, L'nai v'chagat achagat. So chagat represents this stage in Kabbalah called Yanika, which is childhood. Before bar mitzvah, let's say, metaphoric. So he said it's the nai and the chagat of the chagat. Remember, the chagat can be divided into chabad, chagat, nai. Everything can be divided up like that, but we're not dealing with the chabad here. We're just dealing with the chagat and the nai. The ma'u ben, because they were mochin on the male side and the female side. The chochma bebina, the hub, which is pronounced hub. The nai, of that lower section of Bina de Zer Anpin, because in that Nai is where all of the Shefa is going to come into Zer Anpin. So this is the concept of the Talit Katan. So what do we have? This light, let me just bring it back again. This is all light. This is your kavana. This is what you're thinking of when you're putting on your Talit Katan. If you're a great tzaddik and you have this down. So let's see, and what the definition of a tzaddik here is a person who could do this, who has the time and has the understanding to do it. Because what happens is it makes a very strong connection. So he says, now we're going to see another part of this. It's called the Keilim. Keilim always appear in triplicate. There's 3 of them. So the Keilim has an inside, a middle, and an outside type of idea. I can't explain it anymore because I really don't know, but you could look at them, and this is Ma, This is the Revu of Ma, which is 72, and this is Ma again. Let me see what's the difference. I don't see anything different. So this is an A Aleph. Now it doesn't make sense. So I'm cautioned that trying to make sense out of this is just something to look at. He's saying that not just, but it's something to look at, not to try to understand it, because this is what the Keilim look like. So this is the Kli of the Chochmah Dezah, the Kli of the Bina Dezah, and the Kli of the Das Dezah. I slightly misread it, and it's Gimel Kli. Every one has three. It has an inside, like I said, in the middle, and an outside. That's the nature of the Keilim. This is the Gimel Kli of Bina. This is the Gimel Kli of Das. And then from Das, from this is also called Chochmah Bina Das. It's going to all flow into Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferes, the Gimel Klim there, which is going to flow into the Kli of the Netzach, the Zer Anpin, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod of Zer Anpin. Now, with one thing I skipped, and I never know exactly how to do this, so I beg your pardon. He says the Kavanos of the Talit Katan, and down below he has a note that says that when little numbers appear like this bet, we're going to go to the back of the Sefer, but we're not going to do that here. Remember that when we're reading the instructions of the Rashash is telling us two things, which is not easy. He's telling us two things: where it's coming from, and he's going to tell us where it's going. So we always know it's going into a Kli. The ultimate is, we had this idea, and boy, I sure haven't printed it out. Is the concept of, again, Kol Sama. Kol Sama means Keilim, Levushim, Slomim, Mochin, and Oros. Now that is the light, that's the nature of the light that's coming at it, and it lines up with the concept of the Naranchi, which I understand in Israel they pronounce it Narnachi. So I'm just saying it the way that I heard it. We talked about that before. We're dealing with Chagat, which is a concept of Katnas. What Chagat? So let's try looking inside and see if we can find out where it is. It's the Chabad of the Chochmah Bebina. So that's the right line and the left line of a partsuf called the Nai, the Yasos. That is a partsuf which is that Yasos is that attitude, that aspect of Bina, which enters into Zer Anpin. He says, deny the Yasos. And what's going to come? The Naranchi, the Ner, the Ruach, the Neshama. So let's try to work on that. Naranchi means all of the lights, and that's what you see down below. These are all the lights of the Nefesh, and the Ruach. Once again, the Nefesh and the Ruach goes on with the same idea of Nai v'Chagat Chagat, because Nai and Chagat are also the Nefesh and the Ruach. So there's also the Ranchi, the Ner, Nefesh Ruach, of Ruach, the Neshama. So that's what's coming in the Neshama would be Zil Sabbat Avona. So let's go to another page, because this is the whole section. So then he says something. Well, let's do what we do. First of all, let's look at this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are a total of 10 mas. These are all mas. Now, what we're doing with it, I don't know. Then after that, we're going to go to Aleph. Then it starts Aleph. Then it goes Aleph. Okay, I'm not sure what it is. So it goes Aleph, Aleph, Lamed, Lamed, Hey, Hey, Yud, Yud, Mem, Mem. Aleph, Aleph, Lamed, Lamed. Now here the Hey is different. This is a Hey Yud, this Hey Yud, Hey Hey. And then it goes Yud, Yud, Mem, Mem, like that. Like every one. The only one that changes is the Hey. Then it goes Aleph, Aleph, Lamed. Here's another Hey, Hey, Aleph. Now what these are, first thing that I want to do is, let me just show it again. I'm not sure I showed it well. Aleph Aleph Lamed K. That's the whole page. And then it comes down to these, which are oros. This is the or, which menukad with the hirik. So that's netzach, hod, and yesod. Now, let me get a drink here. Okay. Now he indicates something else here that we haven't talked about. And this has to be done from a different place, from the head of Eric Anpin, so to speak, highest level. There are hairs. And he says, Vaha'aros, which are the Mochin the Godless, which represents Mochin the Godless. Yamshich la'ava l'or makif l'zah. It extends down to the or makif for Zer Anpin. Now, there are bundles of hairs which are called nimin. Nimim shehem mochin the yanika, that come from the mochin the yanika. Remember, we're dealing with the stage which is called yanika. It's not the stage of godless. L'or makif l'leah, nuk el yona, which is the upper nook, because if the hair comes down, the leah is located in the back of the neck of Zer Anpin to the, let's say, to the chest of Zer Anpin. That if it's hair coming off the back of the head is going to reach Leah first. V'hanimim shehem hamochin the yanika l'or makif l'leah, for Leah, who is the nook elyona, the upper nook. V'hakutzim, which are little hairs, shehem mochin the iver, which are mochin the iver l'or makif l'rochel nook dezah. Hatzitzis, which is the concept of our tzitzis, the tzitzis themselves. So he introduces these three concepts. One is sa'aros, which are long hairs. Nimim are bundles of hairs. Vakutzim are short hairs. Now, all of these hairs coming from, you have to imagine Eric Anpin and the hair on the head of Eric Anpin, how it actually delivers Shefa to lower worlds. It condenses it because there's only so much light that can fit into a hair as a tube or a channel. V'hakotzim shehim memochin the iber, also the kotzim or makif, it's all coming as an or makif. Now, what's this or makif is about? That talis, in general, is the concept of the or makif, because it goes around you. And you put it on in such a way as you wrap it around you. So he said, then it says, you have to have this in mind. Of the Yechida, that Tzlomim Anaz. Now remember, Tzlomim is it's like a lavush. It's Keilim is on the outside, then there's a lavush inside of the Keilim, and then there's a Tselem that's inside of the lavush. So he says, and that's how it goes, and it lines up with the concept in the Ranchi as well in different ways. V'hayechida, which is the most powerful makif, that Tzlomim Hanaz, of these, the makif, the oros, that are contained within these Tzlomim, Shehim bebechinas eser shemos ma, which is the same idea as the 10 names of Ma. Shehem misper talis, and if you take this, a talis, let's just look at it, because 10 times ma is 45, so 10 times 45 would be 450, and he says this is 39, 49, and 4 makes 449. One more makes one more, which is the kolel, makes 450. So once again, he said, "V'hayachida the tzlamim anaz shehem bebechinas eser shemos ma shehem misper talis." So all of these mas, which is gavana on your talis itself, ikavin lachamshik or makif. So you have this gavana to send down as an or makif, to call all of the yud spheros, the parts of the partsufi anaz, the Zer Anpin. In other words, it's all going to Zer Anpin. Now understand, the name Ma goes with Zer Anpin in general. Vehem bebechinas or makif hagadol v'hayasher. This is the great makif, straight makif. And that's it. Those are the oros of the makif. So then it says like this. Now you have Dalit Tzitzios, the Talit Katan. There are 4 corners there. The mochin, the chub v'chug, which represent the mochin of Chochmah and Bina, Chesed and Gevurah, which he shows down here. The chug v'chug, Shem Dalit Elokims, which are 5 different Elokims, the Yudin, the Alafim, and the Hayim. That's what we said before, because Elokim can be spelled with a various different Hays. Here's Hay, here's another Hay, here's the third one, which we said before. The Yudin, the Alafim, the Hayin, the Mochin, the Mitzad Ima. So I lost my place, so let's try it again. He says, Dalit Tzitzios, of the Talit Katan, that represents the mochin, which are called chub v'chug. Shehem Dalit Elokim, which are 5 Elokim. That's where I got off the boat here. Let me see if I get back on. The Yudin, there's 3 different kinds of ways in which the Hay could be written. Yudin, Alafim, and Hayim. These oros go with the mochin, the mitzad ima. They come from the mochin this is all coming from the left line, or he says it's coming from ima. Kafulim, they're doubled. V'shazurim, and wrapped together. Mochin, the mitzad abba, together with the mochin, the mitzad abba. Because whatever you see mochin, and you see that there's a mochin coming from ima, understand that abba is inside of ima at all times. Then it shows the chub. Here's the chokhmah, and this is the bina. Notice the difference in the hays. This is the chesed. Notice again the hay, and the gevurah, which is also has the same, but there's a slight difference, and I just want to point it out to you. He said this is something else that if you know a little bit of the Otzros Chaim, then you understand this immediately. There are 2 different ways to write the letter hey. So here we have Aleph, Aleph Lamed, 2 Alephs, Aleph Lamed, Aleph Av Aleph, Lamed Lamed, Hey Hey. Notice this is a Yud, a Vav, and a Yud. That's what the Kabbalists say. Then this one, though, is a different one. This Aleph is spelled differently. It's spelled, these are the regular way, but this one changes. When you get to the actual Hey, it changes. And instead of being at Yud, Vav, Yud, which is what we had here. Where is that? The Aleph, Lamed, Hut. I guess I messed it up a little bit, so let me unmess it. This one is Aleph, is Yud, Vav, Dalet. This is a different gematria. This is 16 plus 4 is 20. So it's a different gematria. But he says this is actually what the mochin look like. Hard to understand. So it's going to the Nai, the Penemius, the Chitzonius, the Yitzira. Wow. So first of all, the Nai is like a partziv. 10 spheros in there. It's going into the inside. But it's the inside of the outside of Olam Yitzira. Now, there's a rule in Kabbalah that I just don't know what to do with this exactly, but the only thing I know in the Kabbalah, there's a rule that the Penemius is the part that moves up. The part that moves down, and the Chitzonius stays in its position. So that's all I know about this. It's the parts of Nahi, but the Chitzonius, apparently, you could say it like this. There's a Penemius of the Penemius and a Chitzonius of the Penemius. There's a Penemius of the Penemius and the Penemius of the Chitzonius. Also, to work that out, of Olam Yitzira. Yitzira is Olam Katnus. This is the concept of Katnus. We still don't have the great mochin of godless, which come at Shmona Esrei, and with God's help, we'll get there. That's all I can say. So if you kaven the hafrid, haklipas, Make Keilim the Panemius, the Kitsonius, the Yitzira. So now we have an idea here of what they're saying. So what is our we're going to take the the Panemius, the Kitsonius, the Yitzira, and we have this kavana on it. And here's the Netzach, Hod, Yisod. This is the what they look like. The neshamas, the panemius, with the neshamas, which means panemius, it's the panemius of the panemius of the olamos, together with the neranchi, the nefesh, the ruach, which all of the lights that exist in, remember that ruach is the end. So when we read the Rashash, we look for the last word. So ultimately, this is going into the ruach, but what part of the ruach? The ruach has a whole neranchi. So we're going to the nefesh part, which is the lowest part. So he says, im neranchi, together with the neranchi, the nefesh, the ruach of the nefesh of the ruach. That is the nefesh part of the neranchi of the ruach, and here are the lights. Now, that's the best I could do with that. I am inadequate for understanding, but I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to learn it. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Call Out.